Hi, everyone, and good Friday to you. And thank you so much for tuning in and spending a little time with us on this 28th day of July. More than a wet one outside, a lot of rain and a little time, and we'll talk about the effects of that in just a few moments and rain totals. And there is some good news on the backside of that, and that is that the bulk of the rain is on its way out. We will dry out, we will cool off, and have a pretty nice weekend in store, but not before some flash flooding in McGoffin, Johnson, and other counties due to a lot of rain, like I said, in a very narrow window. Headlines tonight will include coverage of yesterday's McGoffin County Fiscal Court, another meth arrest to bring to you tonight. Someone believed to be trafficking in methamphetamine, bringing the drug here to McGoffin County to sell. A couple of updates for you, coverage of the Big Sandy Regional Jail Authority Board and the struggles they have there with their finances, but for once having a little money to try to make some much needed repairs, and how they're going to also focus on hiring and overtime. We'll have that and much, much more before I leave you for what I hope is going to be a beautiful, certainly a drier and cooler weekend. We'll go ahead and begin right now with just a quick look, and then we'll come back to it in just a few moments as to what a lot of rain did in just a narrow window in regards to flash flooding, which happened in a matter of moments in Sagersville and elsewhere in the viewing area right around 3:30 to 4 o'clock. Yeah, I think it was right around 10 till 4 or so, because that's a time that I usually don't get out. I'm usually in here, I'm in the edit room, and I really can't leave. But obviously, it was a situation that needed a little bit of covering. And this was leaving the studio, headed towards the downtown red light. And as I got to Coal Branch, it was obvious what a lot of rainfall had done and was still doing. In fact, right across from City Hall, as you pull in Coal Branch, you'll notice the water just behind the back corner of the Sagersville National Bank, and you can see the water rushing down from Coal Branch. In fact, after shooting this, I went ahead and drove up behind the bank and turned around and exited Coal Branch. Now, when I did that, all I did was make a right, go up to the IGA parking lot, and turn around, just to see if there is any water standing in that area, which I didn't expect there to be. But nevertheless, my point is that from the time I pulled out of Coal Branch, went to the IGA, turned around, came straight back to Coal Branch, which may have taken, 3 minutes, maybe 4. This was a situation. Water had already made its way all the way out of Coal Branch and onto the main roadway, and it was still continuing to rush down Coal Branch. I could see garbage cans, garbage bags, and a lot of big items coming down and headed towards the downtown area as the water was still continuing to rise. And it was, I don't think, going to get into the church, but it was getting close and certainly surrounding the entire building and making a small pond out of the city park across from City Hall. More on rainfall totals in a minute. A lot of local headlines to come. We'll get to those in just a few moments. I have only 2 other reports from elsewhere, both updates this evening. One related to that auto accident, that crash that claimed the life of a little Eastern Kentucky girl yesterday. As it turns out, in addition to the Eastern Kentucky family now shattered by the loss of their vibrant, joyous little 8-year-old, it also turns out that a dance family, an extended dance family that reaches well beyond Letcher County, is also mourning the loss of little Brianna Hall. One other update for you before we get to our local headlines. Several days ago, I brought you an update from the YPK Motorsports Company in Jackson, who had a vehicle stolen, a Polaris 1000 side-by-side, which, as we have learned today, has been recovered in neighboring Floyd County. With everything happening here this afternoon, I don't have any actual details on the arrest, but an arrest was made by Floyd County Sheriff's Department, Sheriff Hunt notifying authorities and the YPK company that they have been able to locate the vehicle, and they've charged an individual in connection with receiving stolen property thus far, not just for the theft, not for the theft, but at least for receiving, as they were in possession of the UTV, which has been recovered and returned back to YPK. There was a $1,500 cash reward being offered for information leading to the return and or conviction of those involved. So it's possible that someone may be very well looking at having some extra cash for a result of their efforts. I'll be right back. To get high-speed internet on their state-of-the-art fiber optic network for all of your home and business solutions, or to watch TV without a contract on over 200 digital channels with superb quality, or stay connected with family and friends with 24/7 telephone service you can always depend on, contact Foothills Broadband today. Or just click on their link to the right to find out how they're working to provide the latest in communications at affordable prices with exceptional service at Foothills Broadband.
Hi, I'm Attorney Jeff Lovely. At my law office, we're determined to offer you and your family outstanding, cost-effective, and responsive legal services. I can help you if you've been injured in a car wreck. I'll be in your corner if you have a DUI or other criminal charges. To file bankruptcy and stop those harassing phone calls, or I'll fight for you and your children in divorce and custody cases. For all your legal services, contact me when it matters. In Syersville at 349-4522 and West Liberty at 743-1965.
They buy gold, they buy silver, they'll loan you cash today on anything worth $1, and they've got a complete inventory full of anything for pennies on the dollar, whether it's power tools, hand tools, musical instruments, games, electronics, TVs, tools, new and used long and handguns, and ammunition. Find it all at Parkway Gun and Pawn. Get your $10 tickets now for the 14th annual and perhaps biggest community day yet, featuring the incredible Rhonda Vincent and the Rage, and other headliners like the Dave Adkins Band, the Edgar Loudermilk Band with Jeff Autry, Toddy Preston and the Black Powder Express, and many, many, many more. And all the food, fun, games, and fabulous prizes that you can stand, all for just $10, and kids 12 and under, they get in for free. Community Day in the Ramey Park in Sagersville is Saturday, August the 19th. Curb your appetite for a good deal and some home cooking at your Sagersville Lee's Famous Recipe, where we started the under $5 daily special. Saturdays get a 10-piece hot and spicy wing dinner with all the fixings, only $4.69, $3.99 after 4 o'clock. And on Sundays, our famous chicken and dumpling special with homemade cobbler and ice cream, only $4.49, $3.99 after 4. And we cater, gatherings big or small, at your Sagersville Lee's Famous Recipe. Come by and check out this 2014 Jeep Compass 4x4, and come by and check out this luxurious, roomy, limited 2011 Town & Country. And this row of 2015 and 2016 Nissans and Fords and more, all like new, with low miles starting at $99.95. Check them all out at Broadway Auto Sales in Paintsville. It's been a headline, I believe, every day this week, and perhaps nearly every day last week, and beyond that, more often than not. Another meth-related arrest last night, this one just down the street from my home, right around midnight or so, when Sagersville police officer Mike Nichols made a traffic stop for a traffic violation, which resulted in the arrest of a Herald man for, so far, possession of methamphetamine, but the investigation is still ongoing. Traffic stop after midnight on Kentucky Street in Dixie of Sagersville, where while out on patrol, Officer Mike Nichols with the Sagersville Police Department noticed a traffic violation pertaining to the rear of the vehicle and made a stop on the car in question. He says that immediately the driver jumped out of the vehicle and started to approach the officer. And only after a moment of conversation and interaction, he believed the driver was appearing to be under the influence. He was questioned and handcuffed, after which the driver agreed to a search of the car he was in. Nichols found a backpack inside, and while he was further searching the vehicle, he noticed that the suspect, thinking that the officer wasn't looking, grabbed something out of the bag and then stuffed it down his pants. That item turned out to be a first aid kit that had nothing to do with first aid. Inside it were scales to weigh drugs, baggies to sell the drugs possibly, a quantity of pills including Xanax and Neurontin, 6 bags of crystal methamphetamine, 1 possibly containing heroin. There was also a gold tooth, a false gold tooth that someone could actually wear that also contained crystal meth hidden in it. The driver also had in his possession $1,081 in cash, the majority of which $20 bills. Jared Hall, 30, of Herald, Kentucky, faces 3 felony counts out of 8 charges. He is so far charged with driving under the influence, possession of drug paraphernalia, tampering with physical evidence, one of the 3 felony charges, his license plate failing to be illuminated, as well as possession of a controlled substance, 3 counts, one for the drug yet to be tested in one of the bags, the other for the crystal meth, and the other for the prescription pills. He was also charged with the count of having that prescription medication not in its original or proper container. And a host of other items were seized: needles, spoons, and other related drug paraphernalia. Hall faces anywhere from 3 or more years in jail on the drug possession charges, and Nichols stresses that the investigation is still ongoing. And in an update just this afternoon, he tells me that after confirming with County Attorney Greg Allen that they will be seeking trafficking in methamphetamine charges in the coming days. Next, coverage of yesterday's Magoffin County Fiscal Court meeting. Several items discussed on the agenda. Also, 2 discussions that took place. One pertaining to the groundbreaking ceremony in which Hal Rogers and other dignitaries and officials will be here in Magoffin County next week, as well as an update and information on the change of address that many Magoffin Countyans are having to bear, but which the fiscal court and judge describes as being all too necessary. In business items, they transferred $40,000 from the general fund to the jail fund, $80,000 from the general fund to the LGEA fund. They approved the treasurer's report, and they also approved their annual contributions to all 5 county fire departments, as well as giving approval to all the employees' salaries working for the county government, all staying the same as last year. Fiscal Court approved $8,768 to purchase the informative walking trail kiosks at the Civil War Park. They accepted and approved the $979,000 county road aid agreement between the county and the state. At the judge's motion, they approved Paul Lyndon Howard to the Kentucky Mountain Regional Recreation Authority Board. They approved a data breach policy for the county, and also approved changing Orban Oney Road to the Upper White Oak Road by request of all the residents which lived on it. They discussed a request to close Alfred Wireman Road, saying that those who made the request would have to come back with all those affected in agreement in order to close the road. And 2 final discussions, one actually being an invitation to join Congressman Hal Rogers and others this coming Wednesday for a groundbreaking at the Industrial Park, just off of the Mountain Parkway at Gifford Road.
You're invited to groundbreaking at the industrial site for a sewer project. Congressman Rogers will be there to make the announcement and for the groundbreaking. It's at 1 o'clock, which August the 2nd, I believe, is a Wednesday at the site. Yeah. Everyone's invited to be there.
August the 2nd.
1 o'clock. Wednesday, August the 2nd, 1 o'clock. There'll be some other officials there, but the congressman will be there. And, you know, quite frankly, without him, we'd be about $1 million short on getting the sewer out to it. And I think that anybody that can make an opportunity ought to show up and thank him for that. In these budget times, that's a pretty good amount. That's about an $8.5 to $9 million project so far. The county spent about $2.6 million in coal severance and $356 in local money, and the rest of it state and federal. That's a pretty good bargain for us.
And lastly, Magistrate Bucklet Master asked the judge to explain the ongoing changing of addresses that so many Magoffin Countyans are having to undergo in order for the county to be compliant with Enhanced 911.
Well, maybe somebody can explain the way this map is going on, all these address changes, and is that necessary?
Yes. In order to enhance 911, we have to do the map change.
The county is really screwed up then, because everyone I know is getting their addresses changed.
Yeah, including me. I gotta jump through some hoops. I don't like it being changed. I would prefer to ease out and not change them, but quite frankly, if we want to get the money to do enhanced, we have to do it now. They gave us extended time upon extended time to do this and get people used to it. And if we don't do it now, we're just not going to have enhanced 911. And enhanced 911 will mean that they won't know where you're at. If your child calls or my child calls and can't give good directions, they're not going to know how to get there. And that's important because our ambulance service is now covered by a lot of people who don't live in Magoffin County, don't always know McGoffin County. They switch back and forth.
I do not have a date as to when that 911 mapping or enhanced 911 will be completed, but I do know that they are still working with the Big Sandy ad, and they are still going throughout parts of the county that have not been done and establishing what will be their new and permanent address this time. Hopefully the last change for all of us. I'll be right back. Parkway Pharmacy, now open earlier from 8 a.m. until 6 in the evening to better suit your schedule and lifestyle, and to help you get better and live a healthier life. And if allergies are bogging you down, they're armed with the very best in over-the-counter relief for adults and your children. Reach owner pharmacist Jesse Rudd and his assistant pharmacist Megan Castle and their staff at 8 o'clock in the mornings or at 349-4400. A tire more than 25% low, about 8 pounds, makes you 3 times more likely, and worn-out tires 11 times more likely to be in a tire-related crash. Don't take your or their safety for granted. Come in for a free inspection, 6 months, no-interest financing, the best price and best selection at Conley Tire in Staffordsville. Stop by the seasonal shop for the 2 biggest events of the season and find all the help, gifts, and decor you need with baby and wedding registry, something extra special for the new arrival or that little one turning 1 or more, and wedding registry, ideas, and planning for everything from the ceremony to gifts to the home. And the seasonal shop also has thoughtful ways to honor memories of loved ones lost, with personal and gravesite decorations that they'll gladly deliver to our local funeral homes. Find something to cherish all your memories at Frazier's Prater Drugs Seasonal Shop in downtown Sayersville. Much more than diesel specialist, Black Smoke Performance is turning out excellent auto body collision paint and repair results with free quotes and estimates on everything from insurance jobs to that ding you got in the driveway, custom lift kits, bed liners, winches, and accessories, and full diagnostics and repair on anything gas or diesel, from brakes to fluid changes to major auto repair. If you want it fixed, lifted, painted, customized, or just maintained, just call on the team at Black Smoke Performance in Dixie of Sayersville, 100 May Drive, or 349-8785. Wanting you to have a healthier life means providing access to quality, affordable health care. And to do exactly that, Hope Family Medical Center offers full dental care with Dr. Pratt and his team, a pediatrician team of 3 doctors and nurses and moms, complete health care by family physician Dr. Kelly Pratt and nurse practitioners Mildred Sizemore, Gail Faria, Shannon Conley, and Heather Blair. Behavioral health services with Kimberly Davis, with in-house lab testing and results, in-house x-ray, and pharmacy, and all the caring, knowledge, and experience that these medical professionals represent
at Hope Family Medical Center.
The Big Sandy Regional Detention Center Jail Authority Board met in regular session this week. They had a lengthy meeting, just a few moments of which we'll recap for you tonight, as they continue to discuss their struggling with finances and being in the red for several years, and at the same time dealing with a severe foundation failure that we of course have reported to you already, and how to cut back thousands of dollars in overtime, and all at the same time try to make many costly, much needed repairs to the jail. Immediately after calling the meeting to order, they voted to go into executive session, after which they came out with no mention of what was discussed or if any action had been taken. Next came Administrator Pete Fitzpatrick's report addressing a request from the board for overtime numbers dating back to 2012-2013. He said during that fiscal year they had $28,000 in overtime, and overtime had trended up every year since. He also noted that salaries and wages going back to 2010, when he first took over as administrator, at that time they were $500,000 in the red, and that he was able to cut $331,000 a year from the jail's budget by the year 13-14, with total salaries and overtime being less last year than they were in 2010.
And the explanation for that is people were getting overtime, but we don't have the regular people here who are getting 1.4% every day because of salary, the wages and benefits. If overtime is just straight 1.5% overtime, and that's as needed. So when you're paying multiple people every day, it works out to be more money.
And in other money matters, it also has worked out that this will be one of the first years in many that the jail will finish in the black.
So you look at the profit and loss, 2010 was a year with profit, $117,000. From there, we had several years negative numbers, 158,000 in 2010-11, 49,000 in 2011-12. That's a little bit deceptive because when you look at 12-13, the board voted in 2011-12 to pay for repairs that were made in 11-12 out of the budget of 12-13. That was one of the things we voted on, that we'll get the bill after next fiscal year. And by doing that, that jacked up 12 and 13 to 300,000. 13-14 we lost 122,000. 14-15 we got 3,249 in the black. Last year we lost 38,954. And unofficial from our profit and loss, our bank statement shows this year we'll have a revenue surplus of $202,060.
When will that be a solid number?
After
Just after the audit.
And with some of that surplus, the administrator and the board plan on making some much needed repairs. They are currently waiting on a report back from their insurance adjuster on the issue with the severe issue that we reported to you on months ago about the foundation under a portion of the jail failing. They approved making some parking lot repairs, patching, and sealing for $3,400 to Hinkle Contracting, noting that the painting being done to the exterior of the structure is coming along, that work being done by inmates. They later discussed the feasibility of hiring an additional female training officer to cut female overtime, to which Administrator Fitzpatrick said when he started in 2010, the jail averaged about 25 to 30 female inmates on a daily basis. Now that number is anywhere from 70 to 85. They also voted to advertise for one female training officer position in each of the 4 counties, and simultaneously asked Administrator Fitzpatrick to provide numbers showing the cost versus the loss, with adding anywhere from 1 to 4 female personnel in regards to trying to cut back on some of that overtime. And they're also going to advertise to fill one male correction officer position in Johnson County. And after all of that, Magoffin County Representative Johnny Green on the board noted the employees hadn't had a pay raise in about 13 years, motioning for a 5% raise across the board if the jail had the money to pay for it. That motion seconded by Jerry Helton, also of Magoffin County.
Motion and a second for a 5% pay increase across the board.
I don't see where we went to money. I mean, we're talking over $100,000.
Maybe more than that.
Maybe more than
Sue, how do you vote?
Nope, not at this
Doug?
time.
Wants to vote no.
Zach?
No.
Joe?
Yes.
Mike?
No.
James?
No.
Johnny's yes. Paul?
No.
Jerry?
Yes.
That motion failed by a vote of 6 noes to 3 yeses for the pay increase, and it was followed by another motion from Jerry Helton to raise the housing fee by $2 effective August the 1st for each of the 4 supporting counties of the Big Sandy Jail. That motion is seconded by Jerry Green. That motion also failing by the same vote of 6 noes and 3 yeses. Their last item of business was to change the meeting time to the 3rd Wednesday of the month at 6:30. Their next meeting is scheduled to be August the 16th.
I'm Attorney Don McFarland. We all know that times are hard. Jobs are scarce. Most people that I know are struggling to support their families and make it through each day. Now imagine that you get seriously hurt while working on the job, and the insurance company for your employer refuses to pay wages and benefits while you are injured and cannot afford to pay medical expenses, household bills, and put food on the table to support your family. I can help. If you are being wrongfully denied workers' compensation benefits that you rightfully deserve, then give me a call and let me go to work for you. 349-9000.
Yes, Logan makes the best truck bodies on the market, and they also have a fully stocked warehouse of dump body parts, PTOs, hydraulic pumps, hoists, anything you need to get back on the road. And they are a full-service steel and aluminum service center. They keep I-beam, channel, angle, pipe, round rod, rebar, expanded metal, sheet metal, and aluminum all in stock. And if you've got a big project, they do commercial manufacturing to your specs. Logan, since 1904.
July is here, and Appalachian Wireless is bringing the heat. We're giving up to $50 off any smartphone of your choosing this month. Samsung Galaxy S8, normally $149.99, now $99.99. Samsung GS7, normally $49.99, now only a penny. That's any smartphone up to $50 off its normal contract price. And it even includes the 128GB and 256GB models. Better hurry as supplies are limited. 2-year agreement required. Better service, bigger savings at Appalachian Wireless, an East Kentucky network company.
Here's another rare find at Gateway Motors. This Subaru Tribeca all-wheel drive loaded with third-row seating and more, and great deals and low payments, most under $200 on units like this 07 Santa Fe all-wheel drive, this 2012 F-150. How about this 08 Yukon all-wheel drive, 90,000 miles, a one-owner, and everything else on the lot at Gateway Motors in Sagersville. 349 cars. All right, it is now 6:30 and waters are still up, not to the degree that they were. Pictures coming in. Jennifer Lovely taking these on Route 40. That was a little farther on Route 40 towards Johnson County. Backing up just a bit here, just above the newsroom there. You can see a common area, but it's not common to see this much water over the roadway. You might see water come up out of the ditches and over the roadway there, but not often to that degree. But Route 40, Route 30, you can just about name every road in the McGoffin County road system, and there was water over it or is water over it at this hour. Water still slowly going down this further up Route 40 as well. You don't see it there very often. Also, where you don't see it rarely at all, but on the Mountain Parkway. Jason Miller posting these pictures just earlier today that I'm coming up in just a second. Water over the Mountain Parkway 134, also seeing a great deal of water over it. And my last actual update out of the field was about 5 till 6 before I sat down to finish up the show. And I know there was still about 8 inches of water over the Mountain Parkway. 134 had several spots over it, and a lot of other spots were very slow to come down. They were still trying to assess the damage on Coal Branch. Water was still over it, but believed to have washed out the blacktop surface in some areas. And they're still trying to just assess the damages. So far, I don't know of any significant property damage, but keep in mind, I've not been out of this room, and my only contact, of course, is with you fine folks through the internet and the text messages that I've been receiving, and thank you so much for those. So I'll be getting out this evening and seeing what is going to be left behind from what was 3.2 inches of rain here at the studio in that narrow window. I had Daphne Helton had 1.8 inches, nearly 2 inches at Falcon at her home, and other rain totals ranging anywhere from 2 to close to 4 inches for some folks. But once again, I picked up practically 3 1/4 here in downtown Sagersville, the results of which were obviously very evident. And I showed you this footage here at the beginning of the show, and this was when the water was really just starting to come up. It had already risen quite a bit, but 4 or 5 minutes later after I shot this, I came back and did another shot that you'll see here in just a second, and that was how much it had risen in just a matter of about 3 to 4 minutes at the most. And once again, they're still trying to assess the damage done to Coal Branch and the culverts there and everything else. So we'll have more on that maybe next week should there be any extensive damage, and we're expecting certainly some. The good news is that after 3 1/4 inches of rain here in downtown Sagersville, we're not expecting much, if any more, after that. You know, we have the flood watch, which is expiring at 8. The flood warnings that we were already issued have since expired. We still have the remnants thereof. But the forecast is only calling for a 30% chance of some scattered showers before 10, and your radar, as you just saw, is calling for less than that. So what's been here has been here and done, and now it's time to hopefully move on and hope that no one saw any severe property damage. I know a lot of gardens were hit. I know a lot of other property I'm sure was damaged, but hopefully at least no injuries sustained as a result of today's flash flooding. With that said, 61, cloudy, showers ending. That sums up the rest of your Friday. And tomorrow, a day right out of September's playbook. 77 and 56, partly sunny, mostly clear. That's cool and comfortable and nothing like the last of July, 1st of August. Sunday, upper 70s again. More sunshine, more clear skies. By Monday, the 80s do make a return, and we'll see a slow climb from there. Monday, 82, 61, your high and low. Sunny, mostly clear. You'll notice a trend here. Warm, clear, sun, no rain. Tuesday, 84. A little fog in the morning in the a.m., but sunny, mostly clear. Wednesday, mid-80s, more sunshine, more partly cloudy skies. Nothing more than a little bit of fog as far as a bump in the road is concerned. Next Thursday, mostly sunny, still low 80s. We might see a chance of showers on Friday, but right now between tomorrow and then, nothing but gorgeous, and for some of it, fall-like weather. Well, that will indeed wrap it up for us. We'll be talking about the Art Bar early next week. I've got a couple of other very special reports that we've asked to be a part of that I hope will begin early next week as well, and a host of other news and information that you can only see here if you join us each and every weeknight, of course, at 6 and 11 on Howard's Cable Foothills Communication as well, and of course on our YouTube channel for the time being, as our website is still under some reconstruction. That is Your News Today by Britt Mortimer on YouTube. Subscribe, you'll be alerted to whenever the show's been posted, and we'll keep you up to date on everything happening in and around our area. Thank you for watching.